Welcome to Return to Wholeness with Heidi Marquez, founder of the Return to Wholeness Method. In this lesson, we're continuing our journey toward understanding the deeper roots of healing so you can reconnect with your mind, body, spirit, and soul. Remember, healing isn't about becoming someone new, as it's about remembering who you were before survival patterns disconnected you from your authentic self. Let's move forward with this lesson on neuroplasticity and repatterning. One of the most hopeful discoveries in neuroscience is that your brain is not fixed, as it is constantly adapting based on your experiences, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This ability to change is called neuroplasticity. Throughout this lesson, we'll explore how repetitive patterns become automatic, why we often repeat behaviors even when they no longer serve us, and how intentional practice can create healthier neural pathways. Healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about helping your brain and nervous system learn a new way of responding so you can live with greater freedom, resilience, and alignment. Now we elaborate on what neuroplasticity is. Neuroplasticity is your brain's natural ability to reorganize and create new neural connections throughout your life. Every experience you have strengthens certain pathways in the brain. The more a pathway is used, the more automatic it becomes. This is why habits, beliefs, emotional reactions, and even coping strategies can become deeply ingrained. The exciting part is that these pathways are not permanent. New experiences, intentional choices, emotional safety, and consistent practice can strengthen entirely new patterns. Your past may have shaped your brain, but it does not permanently define your future. Your brain is always learning. Most of our daily behaviors happen automatically because our brain is designed to conserve energy, hence the start of pattern formation. Repeated thoughts create repeated emotions. Repeated emotions influence repeated behaviors, and over time, these become automatic neural pathways. Many of these patterns were originally developed to help us survive difficult experiences, especially during childhood. Even when those environments change, the brain often continues using the same familiar responses because familiarity feels safer than uncertainty. This is why awareness alone often isn't enough. Until we intentionally create new experiences, the brain simply returns to what it already knows. In case you are wondering what the repatterning process consists of, Step 1 is practicing self-awareness. Step 2, interrupt the old pattern by making an attempt to pause. Step 3, regulate the nervous system by focusing on slowing your breathing rhythm down. Step 4, noticing what you felt and get curious as to what may be the underlying cause of what you feel. Some examples are a connection to past experiences, fear of loss, or negative assumptions. Step 5, practice a new response. Step 6, make an effort to repeat consistently. Here we have a visual on the repatterning cycle. Repatterning follows a simple but powerful cycle. First comes the trigger, as something activates your nervous system. Next comes awareness, where you recognize what's happening instead of reacting automatically. Then you regulate your body, helping your nervous system return to safety. From that regulated state, you can make a new intentional choice, rather than repeating the familiar pattern. Finally, repetition strengthens this new response until it eventually becomes automatic. Every time you move through this cycle, you're reinforcing healthier neural connections. Healing doesn't happen in one breakthrough moment. Instead, it happens through thousands of intentional repetitions that slowly reshape your brain. Now we emphasize on why repetition matters. A well-known neuroscience principle says, neurons that fire together, wire together. This means whatever you repeatedly think, feel, and practice becomes stronger over time. Whether those patterns are healthy or unhealthy, repetition reinforces them. Lasting transformation doesn't come from one motivational experience or one insight. It comes from consistently practicing new responses until they become natural. This is also why self-compassion is so important. Missing one day or having one setback doesn't erase progress. Your brain learns through consistency, patience, and repetition. Small daily choices often create the greatest long-term transformation. Here, we focus on how neural pathways are rewired. Every time you interrupt an old reaction and intentionally choose a healthier response, your brain begins strengthening a new neural pathway. Your brain changes when you do. At first, the old pathway feels easier because it's been reinforced for years. The new pathway may feel uncomfortable or unnatural. That doesn't mean it's wrong, as it simply means it's new. With repetition, the new pathway becomes stronger, while the old pathway gradually weakens through lack of use. This is why consistent practice matters far more than perfection. Visualization practices are also encouraged. Every mindful choice is literally teaching your brain a different way to respond. Over time, those intentional responses become your new default. Feel free to pause and take notes. Here, we identify some tools supporting change. Many practices help strengthen healthier neural pathways. Mindfulness increases awareness so you can notice patterns before reacting. Breath work helps regulate your nervous system, allowing your brain to shift out of survival mode. Somatic practices reconnect you with your body's signals. Visualization helps your brain rehearse healthier experiences before they happen. Journaling increases conscious reflection and pattern recognition, while self-compassion reduces shame and creates the emotional safety necessary for learning. None of these tools work because they're magical. It's because they repeatedly create new experiences that teach your brain and nervous system a different way of living. Let's pause and give yourself at least 5 to 15 minutes to practice this self-reflection exercise, so do write your responses out. Transformation begins by becoming curious about your own patterns. Ask yourself, what situation keeps activating me? Then ask, what belief or unmet need might be underneath this reaction? Finally, consider, what healthier response would I like to practice instead? Remember, you're not trying to eliminate emotions or become perfect. You're creating space between the trigger and your response so you can choose intentionally. Every time you practice that new response, you strengthen a healthier neural pathway. Healing is not about changing who you are. It's about remembering who you are underneath the protective patterns your brain developed to survive. Here we have some key takeaways. Remember, your brain is adaptable. Healing requires repetition, not perfection. Every intentional choice strengthens a healthier pathway. Thank you for learning with us. Remember to subscribe for more Return to Wholeness curriculum education, reflection, integration, transformation. Next steps. Listen to today's guided practice, which is the new neural pathways visualization, available in the course playlist. Continue to the next lesson. If you are seeking a supportive community, consider joining the remote Holistic Reset Group program. Learn more about it at heidimarquez.com/holistic-reset-group-program. Claim your complimentary introductory consultation with us at calendly.com/return-to-wholeness/15 minutes. As we end this lesson, the most important thing to remember is that your brain remains capable of change throughout your entire life. Old patterns may feel deeply rooted, however, they are not permanent. Neuroplasticity reminds us that every intentional choice, every moment of regulation, and every repetition is helping build healthier neural pathways. Healing doesn't require perfection, as it requires consistency. Progress often happens gradually, one small choice at a time. As those choices accumulate, they become your new normal. The journey of repatterning is ultimately the journey of returning to yourself. And that is the heart of the Return to Wholeness method, creating lasting transformation by helping the mind, body, nervous system, and soul learn a new way of being. Thank you again for joining today's lesson. We encourage you to take a few moments to reflect on what resonated most and consider one small practice you can begin applying before moving on to the next lesson. Remember, awareness is the beginning of healing, but transformation happens through consistent practice, compassionate curiosity, and the willingness to create new experiences of safety. Until next time, remember who you are. Return to wholeness. Subscribe for more.